but division onwards changed. I given list last class. Okay. Division, modular division, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, not equal to, and or not. These all I given. So instead of writing symbol, we can write word also. And in the place of expression, expression language. So dollar symbol, open brace, close brace. It is called expression language. But less than, percentile, equal to, if you write, that is expression. Now by default enabled, that's what you are getting output. You are getting output. Suppose if you want to disable, this is we have to write. See, if you want to disable page is EL ignored equal to true. Now expression language ignored, here is EL ignored equal to true. That means ignored or not ignored? Ignored or not ignored? Ignored. Ignored means enabled or disabled? Disabled. Now it doesn't work. See, if I run as it is printed, if I run as it is printed, see, as it is. See, dollar symbols also printed, open brace also printed, close brace also printed. That means expression language disabled now. So if you want to disable, use this. If you want to use expression language, if you want to enable, by default enabled only. Okay. In expressions, we'll write operators only. The operators, what are the changes are there? I given. Next one, here also some object references are there. Note on JSP expression language implicit object references. JSP EL implicit object references. One is page scope. Write clearly as capital. Second one, request scope. Third one, session scope. Fourth one, application scope. Fifth one, param. Sixth one, init param. Seventh one, cookie. Page scope, request scope, session scope, application scope, param, init param, cookie. Here, S capital, these all S capital. You studied variables. What is the scope of local variable? In core, limited to method only. Okay. What is the scope of instance variable? Depends upon access modifiers. Okay. Private, protected, public, default. That is access modifiers are there. That scope depends upon access modifier. Like that, here we have scope. Page scope means within the page only. Request scope means as long as request is available. And session scope, as long as session is available. Application, entire application. The difference I'll show you. First, these four I'll explain. Note on first one, page scope. It is used to access it is used to retrieve it is used to retrieve it is used to retrieve value of page scope attribute. It is used to retrieve the value of page scope attribute. Second one, request scope. Same style. It is used to retrieve the value of request scope attribute. Session scope. It is used to retrieve the value of session scope attribute. Application scope. It is used to retrieve the value of application scope attribute. Page scope, request scope, session scope, application scope. What's the difference? With examples, I'll explain. Value you can place in variable, that variable scope you can specify. There in core Java, private, protected, public, default, like that we'll write. But here, you can set the scope and you can retrieve the scope. Scope variables. See, I'll show you how to set. Is it over? See, now it is used to retrieve the value of page scope attribute. It is used to retrieve the value of request scope attribute. It is used to retrieve the value of session scope attribute. It is used to retrieve the value of application scope attribute. Now, how to retrieve? We'll see. See, Jakarta dot Saulet dot page context on class is there. JSP dot page context on class is there. In this class, see page context, JSP context object. These are hierarchy. You observe. Here, fields are there. Page underscore scope, request underscore scope, session underscore scope, application underscore scope. Like this, we have attributes, public, static, final, integers. Say, note down. Jakarta dot Saulet dot JSP dot page context. It is a class. In this class, Fields, nothing but variables. Page scope, request scope, session scope, application scope. Fields or variables. Are these instance variables or class variables or local variables? Class variables. How do you know? Static. Okay, these all static variables. Here, these all variable names, integers, integer variable name. Okay, it contains some value. That value we cannot change. Final. Okay, with this number, it will understand the JVM with this number. Now, if you want page scope, this attribute this variable you have to use. So how to call? With class name. Page context dot page underscore scope. Page context dot request underscore scope. You have to set. But how to set? There is one method to set attribute. Method is there. But this super class is JSP context. Inside the JSP context, one method is there. Set attribute. See this attribute, this one here. This method we can use. Name of the attribute, value of the attribute, scope of the attribute. This one we can use to set the attribute. Jakarta dot solid dot JSP dot JSP context. Node method. Here name of the attribute, value of the attribute, scope of the attribute. It is name, it is value of the attribute. It is scope of the attribute. Name of the attribute, value of the attribute, scope of the attribute. See, set attribute, name of the attribute, value of the attribute, scope of the attribute. This method, instance method or class method? This method, instance method, class method. This method in which class? JSP context. Do we have any JSP context reference, implicit reference? No. Page context? Yes. It is superclass. Page context is subclass. With subclass reference, can I call this method? Yes. Okay. Now, what you can do with page context reference, you can call this method. You can pass name of the attribute, value of the attribute, scope of the attribute. Scopes are integers only. These integers you can pass here. See, I'll show you. Here, Jakarta dot Saulet dot JSP context. Jakarta dot Saulet dot JSP dot page context. This is superclass. This is subclass. Ready, son? Or see, this method in JSP context interface, class. This method in JSP context class. Now, we don't have JSP context object reference, but we have page context reference. With that reference, this method we can access. Using subclass reference, superclass method we can access. That is we can call. You observe. For example, here only, I'll remove this part. You observe. Page context reference is page context. You already studied 9 references are there. What are those? Out, request, application, page, this page context. Okay. Here P small letter. P small letter. It is object reference. Page context is a reference. Page context is a reference of which class? Page context only. But there P capital, here P small. That is class. This is object reference. Object reference name also page context. See? Can I write like this? Object creation. Yes. What is demo? Class. What is D? Now can I write like this? Can I write? This demo is a class. This demo is a like that prepared. Now page context is a reference of page context. Okay. Page context dot set attribute. How many parameters? Three parameters. Three parameters: name of the attribute, value of the attribute, scope of the attribute. Okay. Name. Something you can write whatever you want. Suppose book one name. Value of the attribute. Value of the attribute. Suppose head first Java. Okay. Now book one is a one variable name. Attribute name. Head first Java is the attribute value. Here scope I'll write. Scope I given. These are scopes. Integer. It is static. You have to call with class name. Page context dot page underscore scope. Page context dot page underscore scope. Okay. You observe. Page context dot set attribute. Book one. Head first Java. Page context dot page underscore scope. Like this I given. Now same style page this is I'll write one more line. It is second book. Suppose here Java 2 complete reference. Java 2 complete reference. Here I'll write request to scope. Now one more. Book 3. Java black book. Here I'll write session scope. Page context. It is book 4. Application scope. Now page scope, request scope, session scope, application scope. Like this are written. Now you observe these 4 variables. Now it is a method of which class? It is a method of which class? JSP context. It is a reference of which class? Page context. But any relation is there between two classes? Yes, that is inheritance. It is subclass reference or superclass reference? Subclass reference. It is superclass method. Using subclass reference, superclass method, I'm calling 3 parameters. String. Here 3 parameters. String, object, integer. What is string? Name of the attribute. Object, value of the attribute. Integer, scope of the attribute. Name, string format I written. But value, object format it takes. Can I pass string format? Yes or no? How? What is it? Upcasting. So object is superclass, string is subclass. It is upcasting. With upcasting feature valid. Okay. Attribute, scope of the here, integer. These all integers only. You observe. Integers. Like scope I passed. This code, if you want to write, which shall required? Scriptlet or declaration or expression? Scriptlet. But scriptlet, if you want to replace JSTL required. Till I didn't teach JSTL. After this concept, JSTL only. Now, present scriptlet only will write. Because scriptlet, how to replace, I didn't teach till. It is scriptlet. Okay. Now, scriptlet open, scriptlet closed. Now, these are the attribute names. These are the attribute values. But these four not same. Scope is different. See, for example, if you write a class like this, class A, integer x, say, suppose class name demo, integer A equal to 10, integer B equal to 20, integer C equal to 30, integer D equal to 40. These all which type of variables? Instance variables or class variables or local variable? Instance variables. When memory allocated? Whenever object is created. When memory deallocated? Whenever object is destroyed. Now here, what I'll do, see here, I'll write like this. I'll write like this. Now, these four variables memory allocated whenever object is created. These four variables memory deallocated whenever object is destroyed. So, life of these four variables, it is same. Whenever object is created, memory allocated. Whenever object is destroyed, memory deallocated. So, life of these four variables same, but scope is different. This variable scope is limited to package. This scope is limited to class. This scope is limited to package and subclass. Subclass can be outside the package also. This scope is no restriction. Anywhere you can access. No restriction. But all are instance variables. All variables memory allocated whenever object is created. All variables memory deallocated whenever object is destroyed. But scope is different. No? Accessing permission is different. Okay. Like that. Here. These four variables same, but scope different. It is page scope, it is request scope, it is session scope, it is application scope. The difference I'll show you. First of all, if you want to retrieve these method attributes, there is a method get attribute. See, return type, actually object, we record string. String SC equal to page context dot get attribute name book 1. It is downcasting. See here, second parameter, actually what is the actual parameter? Object. What I passed? String. Here it returns object but assigned to string. It is downcasting. Downcasting must be done by programmer explicitly. Then we have to write like this. Okay. Now this one, if you want to print out.println, yes, we'll write. This code we can write in the scriptlet. Like this you can write. It is scriptlet. Now, instead of writing like this, you can write like this also. You can write like this. It is called expression. It is called expression. Okay. Now, instead of writing this style, new style, dollar, open brace, page, scope, dot, book one, line break, dollar, open brace, request scope, dot, book two, line break, dollar, open brace, session scope, dot, book three, line break, dollar, application, scope, dot, book four. That is still right. Now, you observe all will be printed. Right click, run on server, save. See, head first Java, Java to complete, Java black book, SCJP by Gatisira. It is new style, but complete difference. I'll show you with one diagram. What's the difference? Complete difference. I'll show you. Write this program. So every book scope different I given. The difference with the diagrams I'll show you. Is it over? See, book 1, page scope attribute. Book 2, session scope, request scope attribute. Book 3, session scope attribute. Book 4, application scope attribute. Page scope attribute we can access within the JSP page only. Request scope attribute, as long as request is available, that attribute is available. Suppose one JSP to another JSP, if I write forward, same request passed or new request passed? Same request. That means that request available in another page also, no? There also you can access. Suppose from that I'll write redirect. New request or same request? What is it? New request. At that time not accessible. The request scope means as long as request is available. Session. Whenever you log in, then session started. Until you log out, that attribute accessible. Application. Entire application. WAR file you can access. See, assume this program something page 1.jsp. Assume this file name is page 1.jsp. Here another file page 2.jsp. Say page 1.jsp. Here page 2.jsp. Here page 3.jsp. Here, page 4.jsp. Like this. Here to here, suppose forward. Here to here, suppose redirect. Here to here, redirect. Forward, redirect, redirect. Okay. Now, from this page to this page, same request coming or new request coming? Same request. This page to this page, new request. Again, this page to this page, new request. Suppose here login code we written. Here before redirecting logout code we written. Suppose. Now in a page 1 session started. In page 3 session ended. Okay. This is entire one war file. Now whatever you written program, that program you assume like a page 1.jsp. You assume like a page 1.jsp. Okay. Book 1. What is the scope of book 1? Page scope. That means page 1.jsp only can access. In next page, not possible to access. Book 2. What is the scope? Request scope. As long as request is available. Now here forward, same request passed no? So book 2 can be accessed in page 1.jsp, page 2.jsp, 2 pages. Book 3 scope is session scope. As long as session is available, here login, here logout. Can I access in page 3? Yes. Page 1 also, page 2 also, page 3 also. Can we access in page 4? No. Fourth book, application scope. Can I access in page 4 also? Yes. Now, book 1. Book 1, in how many pages we can access? 1 page. That is page 1.jsp only. Book 2, in how many pages we can access? 2 pages. What are those? Page 1.jsp, page 2.jsp. Book 3, how many pages? 3 pages. What are those? Page 1, page 2, page 3. Book 4, 4 pages. Now, same question, different angle I'll ask. Same question, different angle. Okay. In page 1.jsp, how many books we can access? See, again, multiple answers coming, you observe. Same concept, different angle. In page 1.jsp, how many books we can access? 4 books we can access. Okay. 4 books we can access. In page 2.jsp, 3. Which book are not accessible? Book 1. Book 1 not accessible. Okay. In page 3, how many books we can access? 2 books. Which are not accessible? Book 1, book 2. In page 4, how many books we can access? 1 book. Which book? Book 4. Same concept, question, different angle I asked her. That's it. Okay. Now, book 1. Book 1 scope is page scope. Within this JSP only we can access. Book 2 scope is request scope. Page 1 we can access, page 2 also, because same request coming. Book 3, session scope. Same session continued up to page 3. When logged out, another session. That's what 3 pages you can access. Book 4, all pages you can access, entire war file. That notes I'll give. First you write this diagram. Is it over? So here forward, same request comes, redirect, new request, redirect, new request. So request is finished second page only. Same request. And login page 1, log out page 3. Session will be completed in page 3 only. But this is entire application, application scope. You can access. Okay. I'll give a description about this diagram. Is it over? No done. In the above example, page book 1 can be accessed in page 1.jsp only because its scope is page scope. Comma, book 2 can be accessed in page 1.jsp and page 2.jsp because its scope is request scope. Book 3 can be accessed in page 1.jsp, comma, page 2.jsp and page 3.jsp because its scope is session scope. And book 4 can be accessed in page 1.jsp in all pages, in all JSP pages in that war file because its scope is application scope. In the above example, book 1 can be accessed in page 1.jsp only because its scope is page scope. Book 2 can be accessed in page 1.jsp and page 2.jsp because its scope is request scope. Book 3 can be accessed in page 1.jsp, page 2.jsp and page 3.jsp because its scope is session scope. And book 4 can be accessed in all JSP pages in that WAR file because its scope is application scope. Their only meaning is there. Page scope within the page only. Request scope as long as request until that request only. Session in that particular session only. Application in that particular application only. Book 1. Book 1 in how many pages we can access? 1 page. Because that scope is page scope. Within that page only. Okay. Book 2, 2 pages. What are those? page 1.jsp, page 2.jsp, because that scope is request scope. That request is vanished there itself because redirect means next request created. That's what they're only stopped. Session scope. Third one is book 3, session scope. As long as session. Third page, session ended. That's what up to that only. Fourth book, all pages. In first page, how many books are accessible? All books are accessible. Second page, 3 books. Third page, 2 books. Fourth page, only 1 book. Okay. That question only different angle I'm explained. That's it. That concept only. These are over. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are completed. Next, param, init, param, cookie. Next one. Param. Fifth one, param. It is used to get the request parameter value. It is used to get the already explained. You asked, that is the reason only explained again. Again is asking. Now, say param. It is used to get the request parameter value. So you studied how to get request parameter. In new cell, it is request parameter value. Say, suppose one HTML page, login.html. Now, login.html, you'll write like this. Suppose username, input type equal to text, name equal to uname. Like this you'll write. Okay. Username, you'll write like this. How will retrieve in login.jsp? Login.jsp, how will retrieve? Request dot get parameter. Okay, otherwise directly diagram I'll give. See. Suppose this box name uname, this box name pivot. What are these two? Request parameter names. Okay, request parameter names. What are these two? Request parameter values. Request parameter values. What are these two? Labels. Okay. If you want to retrieve here, how will write? What will write? String s1 equal to request dot get parameter uname. Like that will write. Next string to s2 equal to request dot get parameter book to p what will write. Here, which element will write? Scriptlet or declaration or expression? Scriptlet. Scriptlet if you want to replace JSP EL required or JSTL required. That is tomorrow class. If you want to print, can I use expression? If you want to print, request dot get parameter. Like this, can I write? Get parameter uname. Like this, can I write? Yes. It is new style. You can write like this. Dollar symbol, open brace, param dot uname. Dollar symbol, param dot p-word. This is new style. Now, no need to write request dot get parameter, param dot uname, param dot p-word. This is new concept. Now, note example. In expression place, expression language you can write, but scriptlet place, declaration place, JSTL required. Okay. Expression can be replaced with expression language. Scriptlet and declaration, if you want to replace, JSTL required. Then JSP program becomes 100% tag based application. Is it completed? So here less than percentile equal to request dot get parameter uname. Again less than percentile greater than this equal to request dot get parameter will write. But now just a param dot uname param dot pword. That's it. It is very simple. Okay. The new style. Now next one. Init param. Sixth one. Init param. It is used to retrieve initialization parameters from web.xml. It is used to retrieve initialization parameters from web.xml. It is used to retrieve initialization parameters from web.xml. See, what is this? What is expression? What is this? Expression language. This is replaced with expression language. This is replaced with this one. That is your learning. Now, it is used to retrieve initialization parameters from web.xml. How to configure web.xml? Initialization parameter, how to configure? You study, no? How to configure initialization parameter from web.xml? In web.xml? What are the tags we used? What is that? Init param. Next, param name. Param value. Suppose message. Param name. Next, param value. Okay. Suppose welcome. This will write. Now, like this will configure. How to retrieve in a Solid, or JSP. You have seen. Suppose demo.jsp. How will write? Give me answer. How to retrieve this initialization parameter? Which method we have to call? Get init parameter. That method in which interface? Solid config. Now, how will call? String s equal to config dot. Config already reference is there, no? Config dot get init parameter. Parameter name message. Out dot println. Yes. Okay. These two lines where we'll write scriptlet. But if you want to replace scriptlet, what we require? JSTL. But instead of this, I'll show you expression. Can I write like this? Yes or no? This one you can replace with dollar open brace init param dot message over. So this is simple. Write this one example. So to retrieve initialization parameter, this is an example. To retrieve initialization parameter, this is an example. Init param. It is used to retrieve initialization parameters from web.xml. Is it over? It is used to retrieve initialization parameters from web.xml. So these parameter you can retrieve like this. New style. Last one, cookie. Seventh one. It is used to retrieve value of cookie. It is used to retrieve the value of cookie variable. It is used to retrieve the value of cookie variable. See, you have seen cookie programs. In Solids, we created cookie like set cookie.java, get cookie.java. You know. Now in set cookie.java, we created a cookie. What we written for creating cookie in Solids? Cookie C equal to cookie C equal to add cookie is a method. First you have to create cookie, no? New cookie, one variable, sub message, something welcome. Now next add cookie. Add cookie method in which interface? Add cookie method in which interface? Core Java completed. Advanced Java is going to end. Okay. Advanced Java questions also are not giving answers. Cookie where it is going to be stored? Browser. Who will send? Server. Server to browser is called response. Then response. Response dot add cookie. Response dot add cookie variable reference. This code where we are tried scriptlet. Scriptlet you will write. But scriptlet if you want to replace JSTL, that is not completed. Now, but this one not for setting, only getting. It is used to retrieve the value of cookie variable. Okay. Then here get.jsp. How will retrieve cookies? You studied in Solids. How will retrieve? Request dot get cookies. It returns cookie array. Request dot get cookies. Now first value if you want to print out.println C of 0 dot get value you will write, but this is not required like this. New style dollar open brace cookie message dot value. You can write like this. Okay. Otherwise, one more way, or dollar cookie dot message dot value. Like this, one more way. This is new style of coding. Write this one. Seventh one, cookie. It is used to retrieve the value of cookie variable. It is used to retrieve the value of cookie variable. Is it over? Now you observe this code. This code in a Soulet, if you want to write, what we written? Cookie array C equal to request dot get cookies. Now, like this we written, this array, suppose if it is first one, we'll write index, then string s equal to c of 0 dot get value. If you want to print out dot println yes. Like this we have to write. Here scriptlet open, here scriptlet closed. Okay. Instead of this code, you can write like this. You can write like this. Okay. Otherwise, expression here. Expression language like yes. That means C of 0 dot get value. So you can write like this. You can write like this. You can write like this. It is scriptlet without dot println I printed. It is expression. These are expression language. New style of coding. That's it. Okay. But these 7. This is for page scope attributes. If you want to retrieve, use request scope attributes purpose. This one. Session scope attribute purpose. This one. Application scope. This is request parameter, initialization parameter, cookies. This 7 we can use only in JSP EL. But already 9 I given, no? The 9 anywhere you can use. But this 7 only in expression language. Up to here, expression language completed. So tomorrow, JSTL, JSP standard tag library. Okay. We'll see continuation tomorrow.